We have a brand new podcast. Visit myprivacy.help to subscribe. Did you know you can completely control your personal information without relying on a third party? Farris, Gordon, and industry experts explain how you can reclaim control of your data, your privacy, your life. Visit myprivacy.help.
It took a while for it to, obviously when Ricardo and I did it, that's what really took it off. And then I had journalists. But for some reason, people get real funny about claiming who did it. And I never claimed to invent the Shoey. I just was the first one to do it on the podium. So I've got people abusing me, messaging me saying, you didn't invent the Shoey, it was about Huey's. I'm like, I never fucking said I did. So, and when I did go, I went on the Today Show with Stefanovic and that, and I'm trying to raise money for Camp Quality. And then also 80% of the comments are just who invented the Shoey. I'm like,
because we like to focus on the important things in life.
Yeah. But for some reason, people just get real touchy about who started what and who. I'm like, who cares? I haven't done one since.
Welcome to Bitcoin Basics with your hosts Farris and Gordon. Visit bitcoinbasics.help if you need help buying and securing your Bitcoin.
Hello and welcome to another Bitcoin Basics podcast with your host Gordon. That's me, and I have Farris with me as well. Before we get started today, let's do our proof recording. Today is the 17th of November, 2023, and the current price of Bitcoin is $36,365 US, and the current block height of the Bitcoin blockchain is 817,078, according to the Bitcoin Clark Moody dashboard. So today, Farris, we have another interview, which was super fun, with Ryal Harris. But before we get into that, I was about to say, who are you? I think people know who you are. But what are you doing? Give us a bit of background. What's happening?
So as you guys know, since we've been recording this show, I've been based in New Zealand. A few months ago, I was headhunted and made a move to the Gold Coast in Queensland. So I've been doing some consulting with NGS Crypto, who are actually a mining company, and they pay out their members in Bitcoin daily from mining revenues. So I was in the office, and Ryal Harris is a racing car driver. He is a championship racing car driver, highly respected, very, very good at what he does. And NGS Crypto sponsor him. So we had a chat and figured, we need to get you on the show because he's a fascinating person to talk to.
Clear as mud. No, that's good. Ryal. I keep on saying Ryan. Super fun, really interesting. And even though we are a Bitcoin only podcast, this interview is fascinating. Yeah, it is about racing car drivers and that sort of stuff. But yeah, an entrepreneur, super fun, laid back, down to earth guy. Super involved in the community. And so this is a little bit different for us, but nonetheless, super exciting. And do you want to introduce Ryal? And
Yep. Yeah, so no, it's great. So before we do, just new listeners, old listeners, we are running more workshops. Obviously, price of Bitcoin is and making more headways. So if you want to learn how to buy your Bitcoin, store it, how do you actually make money off this thing, how do you keep your Bitcoin's private keys safe, we are running another workshop. So bitcoinbasics.help/workshop.
Yeah, or just go to the site bitcoinbasics.help, click the big red workshop icon and register your interest. And so you can see when the next workshop is coming up, or if there's not one, register your interest and we'll get in contact with you shortly. So Farris, how about you introduce Ryal?
If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe, like, and share so we can find others like yourself.
All right, everyone. It's a pleasure to have Ryal Harris here, and we're being hosted at the NGS Crypto offices in Surfers Paradise. It is a nice, moist day out there. So, Ryal, before we explain why we have a legendary race car driver amongst us, we'll get into that segue in a minute. Just for our audience who have not heard of you, tell us who you are.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. Ryal Harris, born and bred on the Gold Coast. Started racing go-karts when I was 10 years old, and Dad raced Speedway, so I was sort of already in the family. it was either rugby league or car racing. I was too small for rugby league. But yeah, being a born and bred Queenslander, still love my rugby league, and I sort of missed that contact sport I did when I was younger. But I started winning in go-karts, and I remember my last sort of like tryouts for the it's called South Coast up here. Like, it's sort of how you get into the Queensland junior teams and stuff like that. I remember, like, I think I was like, 11, 12 years old, and just got smashed by all these big Kiwi kids all coming through there. They got like beards, hit puberty a lot earlier. So I just remember coming off halfway through the trial. I'm like, yep, let's just stay and go kart racing. I've had enough of this. So head down, bum up. We won like 12 state and national titles in go-karts, and got picked up by Dick Johnson Racing as a junior development driver when I was still in go-karts. And F1, like when you're 11 years old, F1's like the dream, So I'm 13, 14, 15. I'm still thinking I'm going to go to F1 because I know I've got the talent. There's no doubt about that in my mind. But obviously you need the money. So when we were signed up by DJR, Dick Johnson Racing, Dick himself's like, mum and dad haven't got the money to go F1 racing, so I learned how to drive a tin top, and that's what we did. So we got into it was called the V8 Brutes back then. Been in the Utes since 2004 with a bit of touring car masters. I did a year in supercars last year in the Super 2. I'm probably a Ute veteran now. It's coming up on 20 years, I think.
So for our international audience, when we say Ute, like in the Americans, they call that pickup. Yeah. So that transition from going from, essentially a sedan to a Ute, which has a very light back end.
Yeah.
What's that like?
That's pretty wild. Like, so the first year of the current cars, the Super Utes, were actually diesels. So, but the old V8 Utes were obviously like your FG Falcons, BA Falcons. Yeah. Is that still working?
I'll keep going.
Yeah.
Don't worry about Gordon.
Don't worry about Gordon. All right, Colin. See you, mate. They are pretty taily. Like they're very unique to drive. The old V8 Utes, especially because they were basically just a glorified road car with a roll cage and stuff in them. Yeah. The current cars, they do start life out as a road car, but they're pretty much a full spec race car. They got the proper cage, the supercar brakes, big tyre package. Pace Innovations build the cage and the rear cradle in them. They're the people that build the supercars chassis. So, and obviously they started out with diesels in them, which was horrible, like horrible, like the worst couple of years of my life racing those things. So they were just too slow. The fans hated them. So the appeal of the old V8 Utes, like we were like probably the most popular support category in the country. And then these diesel things come along, and I don't know who made the calls. I'd love to know. Love to be a fly on the wall in those meetings when they were like, yeah, let's race diesels. And
because that's sacrilege, diesel.
I think they're trying to do the market relevance thing, but like just some of the people that make these decisions, like it just amazes me. Like, and like who picks the opening act for the AFL Grand Finals and NRL Grand Finals, and like who decided to put diesel engines in a car. So, but anyway, we've shaken that tag and they're back on track. They've got V8s in them now, and they're awesome.
So for our international audience, again, when we say Australian Ute racing, they're probably picturing you still have the Rottweiler and the slab of beer, right?
Pretty much. So it is a very unique Australian category, but that's what makes it good. Like I like it. Like the dual cab market's the biggest car segment in Australia. So I suppose that's what some marketing genius is like. Yeah, let's ride some with diesels But like they look cool. They don't look as cool as the old Utes, but they're probably more similar to a pickup for an international audience. So, yeah.
Fantastic.
I'm
waiting for the fully electric Ute.
Yeah,
and halfway through the race, you have to stop and recharge it.
No friggin' way. Let's hope that never happens.
So are you very happy in this niche? Are you looking to grow and go somewhere else?
Well, I'd love to do supercars again. Like I've got a bit of, unfinished business there. Like the car that I was in last year was just not up to scratch. So it's a lot of money. But I don't need to prove anything to myself, but I think I want to prove things to some people. But the utes work for me. Like it's bang for your buck. It's the best category in the country by miles. So like I actually make money racing cars. Not many guys that race support categories can say they make money out of it. So yeah, it works for me. It is a very unique Australian category, but the growth of the category in the last couple of years has been amazing. So like next year, there's 24 cars on the grid. Each car will probably be like a franchise model, like a license. It's hard to get a car. So the car that I'm in at the moment, I've had to lock that in before someone comes underneath me and steals it out. So like I'm leasing it at the moment. So I run all my own sponsorship, get all my own sponsorship deals done. I also run my own signage business. So there's a bit going on. I don't know how I do it. ADHD probably, but I enjoy it. Like I enjoy hustling and getting the sponsorship stuff in place. And to be honest, the NGS crypto guys, they're probably the most fun sponsor I have, as far as like activations and stuff like that go. So
yeah,
like some of the other sponsors like Super Butcher, EFS, Beck Legal, Havendine, I do our track day every year but apart from that, there's not much other stuff I do for them. Mm-hmm. Super Butcher, I go to their opening days and stuff. EFS, they use me every now and then for some marketing stuff, but I've come like, use me up. Maybe do something.
So, and this is through the NGS that we actually came through to you. Is so tell us about that sponsorship, NGS Crypto, which is a blockchain mining company.
Yeah.
How did that happen? How did you?
Benny too many. So Benny Samuels, who works for the NGS, so salesman extraordinaire. He is absolutely amazing at what he does, and I've known him for years. Like back to like 2005, and we've got up to plenty of mischief together, Benny and I. But he just said, come in and have a meeting with us and meet the owners, and they might be keen for some, to do some sponsorship stuff, and the rest is history, I guess. So Brett and Ryan, all the other boys, just an amazing bunch, and been working with Elliot lately on like marketing stuff and the video content and stuff like that. So I love it. It's good fun, and like. It's always fun coming into the office and seeing the boys. So,
how long's that sponsorship been going for?
2000. Last year was the first year.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. Sorry, I drew a blank. I had a question for you. You mentioned rugby. So, do you still have family members involved in rugby?
No. Dad was really good at rugby league, but he also chose racing over rugby league. Dad had a signage business at Miami Smash at Miami called Harris Signs. Used to race speedway, but he was really, really good footy player. He was better than I ever would have been. And he chose racing over footy as well in his business. Similar. I suppose I've followed the same path, and I do love my rugby league. Like I don't like week to week like sit down and watch every game, but State of Origin, I haven't missed a second.
Yeah,
so I love it.
No, that's what I remember now. You're talking about having to you run your own business, and Australia's a sport crazy nation.
Yeah,
but it's not many people can actually make a full-time living out of it. Because I remember 20 years ago, even AFL players. They had 9-to-5 jobs. And they go practice afterwards. Yeah. So when you look at, Europe, America, it's like, they have full-time athletes, whereas here. Yeah.
It's insane some of the money that those guys are on over there. So, but population, we don't have a massive populations here. So that's why you don't see like massive commercial sponsors in racing like Kmart's and Targets. You used to, but in America, like you got Kellogg's and like NASCAR's huge over there. It's like the third biggest sport, I think, over there. So.
Well, and I was listening to this podcast recently, and they explained, the origins of NASCAR is during the Prohibition era when they banned alcohol.
Yeah.
They
used to hot rod the cars up.
They used to hot rod the cars up to get away from the police.
Yeah.
That was the origins of NASCAR.
That's so good. It reminds me of that movie. What's the movie with Shia LaBeouf and
Outlaws,
something
like
that. The brothers.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when they started hotting them up. They're actually like they pull them out of the jars and pour them into the engine. So, but motor racing is. I'm actually not a car guy. Like I'm not technically minded. Like I know how to give feedback to my engineers and stuff like that. But as far as cars go, like I'm not a car guy. Like it happens all the time. I get caught out. We'll be at an event and a guy will be like, "Oh, I just put this exhaust on my XR8 or something." I'm like, "I've got no idea what you're talking about." I just love driving cars. It's just purely a sport to me. I enjoy the sponsorship side and the racing side.
Yeah.
And politics, not so much. Like I'm a pretty aggressive driver, so I'm in trouble a fair bit.
Well, this is when I was talking to one of the NGS crypto members, and I said I was going to interview Ryal, because she said, "Oh, it's great you guys sponsor Ryal." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm interviewing him." She said, "Tell me something about his temper."
Yeah.
And then someone else mentioned, but that's where his drive comes from.
Yeah.
Where he is today.
I don't know what it is. I just get so angry when I'm racing. Like I'm pretty placid away from the racetrack, but yeah, like just I don't know. I suppose you're right. It's sort of like my strength, I guess, but. Yeah, I need to chill out a bit, I think.
That's where your passion
Not on the track, just out of the track.
Hey, when people talk about John McEnroe, he's remembered.
Yeah, 100%. I might start throwing my helmet and stuff like that. having a hissy fit.
So with that NGS crypto affiliation, do you actually get a lot of people asking you, what is this crypto stuff?
Yeah, 100%. So like Brett, said to me, he goes, "Don't stress out too much." Like trying to explain the whole thing to everyone. He goes, "Just explain the basics and then put them on to us."
Yeah. So
it's good. We did a competition recently where people could win the chance to be part of the crew for the day, or there was also a hot lap competition. So a lot of people that I know through social media or for racing obviously entered the draw, and a few have said like, "Oh, entered the draw. Hopefully I win." It was pretty funny because at the start, I actually haven't told Elliot this, but we, a lot of people thought it was actually like we were actually looking for a mechanic. So there was guys like, he goes, "I'll come out and span your car." I'm like, "It's not like that, bro. You're just going to like come out and just chill out."
So they're opening the hood. Where's the block?
Yeah. Like I've got like guys that are actually mechanics going, "Yeah, do you need a mechanic? Like what happened to your crew?" I'm like, "They're still there." It's just, you just win a chance to come and be part of the crew. But yeah, like I got some great feedback from people that, like I said, they contacted us and explained it to us. Just yesterday, a partner of one of my old mechanics, she's messaged me on Facebook saying, ask for me, if it's a good idea, if I should invest. And I'm like, "Here's Brett's number." Brett's like, "Just get her to call me direct." I said, "I just gave you the owner's number. Just call him direct." So it's a very personable experience here with NGS. And it's good because like I sort of, crypto is sort of like at the start of when it all first blew up, I was like, it was very vague to me.
Yeah.
Like to like, even to try and explain it to someone or when someone explains it to me. But once Brett explained it to me and a few people here, it sort of made
Well,
sense.
I mean, it's just like what you mentioned with a car.
Yeah.
You have your role. You get in and you drive.
Yeah.
And with blockchain, with Bitcoin, with crypto, there's so many different things and people want to understand everything.
Yeah.
It's like you really only need to know maybe 10%.
Yeah. And I try to explain it to someone that's a bit older as well. Like, wow.
And this has been our challenge here or what we've had to hone our craft is what is it you don't need to know about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is. That was something I was really stressed about because I do have to know everything about my sponsors. So obviously SuperUte, pretty basic. Like they got awesome meats. A good mate of mine owns the company. They brought it off a family owned business. It still is family owned. So they've just revamped it and SuperUte is going gangbusters. EFS have sponsored me since 2017. They do 4x4 accessories.
Yeah.
So suspension lift kits, bull bars, winches, like it's an easy sell for me. Beck Legal Group, like if you get divorced, give Cody a call. Havendine, like amazing. Those guys do like big government projects, like they do all the roofs at prisons and they just did the QPAC in Brisbane. So all my sponsors I know, enough about, but Brett's always said, he goes, "Don't stress too much," but I just wanted to know the basics and it took me a while to get my head around it, but it's all good now. I think.
So the last thing you need when you're driving is trying to understand crypto.
Yeah, no, but you want to, like, I'm basically a salesman for all my sponsors.
Yeah.
So I have to know about it.
Yeah.
So, and plus I don't want to look like a dickhead. If someone asks me a question, I can't answer it. So yeah.
I think your standard response if you don't know is it's in the blockchain.
Yeah. Just call Brett.
Oh, man.
But like it's fun doing activations like that. So, and it is like you got to sort of like, obviously crypto is like it took a battering in the press and stuff, and it's just like obviously it's you got to sort of like, you want to like explain it to people without like you're trying to like push it too hard sort of thing. Like,
yeah, it's a fine line.
Yeah. So, but like obviously what NGS guys are doing is amazing. And I just rather someone that's like Benny or Brad or someone just to like, I can tell people the basics, but not so much to get someone over the line, like to get a sale through, but just so they know that like my sponsors are passionate about what they do and you guys especially. So it's good that someone like Benny or Brad or someone can actually like radiate that through to them.
Yeah.
So,
and on behalf of NGS Crypto, I think their reviews speak for themselves.
100%
reviews.
Yeah.
They've got 5-star reviews. They've never had an asset complaint.
No, that's what I mean. But
which
like
in this industry speaks volumes.
Yeah. There's a few people that obviously ruin it for everyone with those sort of things. So, and being on the Gold Coast as well, like I'm born and bred on the Gold Coast, so everyone thinks Gold Coast is a sunny place full of shady people. So, not the case at all. There's amazing people that like I said, I'm born and bred here. No tattoos. Hate the water. I'm not a bikie. My girlfriend's not blonde with fake boobs. So everyone thinks there's a Gold Coast is just like we're all just walking around like scamming shady people, dating blonde girls. So or a bikie. So not the case at all. There's an amazing business community here. All my local sponsors are based on the Gold Coast. The EFS are up sort of up north a bit, but every other sponsor's like on the Gold Coast based. So
fantastic.
So yeah,
that's a great energy here. A great vibe.
It is like, but people just don't understand. They just think, but like we're the fastest growing region in Australia. During COVID, everyone was here, so like, you know, you're like, not so bad now, is it?
That's why I ended up here. Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, born and bred, proud Queenslander, and I love having local support, and it just works for me. Like having Southeast Queensland based companies supporting me, I can do regular stuff with them, like activation, sponsorship stuff, appearances, and then obviously when we do our track day stuff, and then obviously racing at home, which is good. So always good to race at home. So you need to come up, George.
Gordon, actually, but that's fine. Close enough. No, that's all good. I mean, it's impressive what you're doing. I mean, you're basically an entrepreneur, and looking at your website, like you offer all kinds of packages and hot laps and stuff like that. Do you show off during the hot lap? Are you like a little bit conservative, or do you like try and give them the full experience?
I feel bad for calling you George now. Sorry, Gordon. No. My track day is actually you guys all drive. So all the sponsors actually come and drive. Like in the past, I've done hot lap days, but I can't give there's 120 people. So if I was doing hot laps for 120 people, I'd be absolutely knackered. The car would be knackered. Like the brakes would be worn out. The tires, I'd go through like 5 sets of tires. And plus you guys would rather drive anyway, surely. So it just works. And then there'd be like 6 cars, 6 instructors. Groups come in certain times, and I just get to mingle with everyone, buckle them in the car, strap them in, give them a bit of a pep talk, and send them on their way. So, yeah, I'll probably do a few hot laps, but those days I'll be on the barbie cooking snags. You know, that's just what you do. Like if I'm in the car all day, I don't get to mingle, I don't get to talk, and I get to meet all the customers, all the clients of the sponsors or whoever. So there's a lot involved, but like for a good example is, in 2014, I was sponsored by a pest control company. So I put on a skid pan day at Mount Cotton. Haven't told anyone this actually. It's pretty funny. So, at the skid pan, you can put down diesel and water. So it's like drifting. So it's but on diesel. So you're 40K an hour, it's safe, but it's just so fun. You could bring out the most corporate dude ever, and he's just smiling from ear to ear because he's just on the bump stops in a car. That year in particular, I just went to I won't say what hire car mob, but I just went and hired 2 rear-wheel drive cars and just let everyone go to town. But it just doesn't do anything. It's just diesel and water. So it obviously gets filthy. You got to clean them and drop them back at the hire car mob, and that was it. But that day in particular, where I was going with the story is, pest control company sponsored me, so I invited out every builder, every developer, anyone that I thought would switch over to this pest control company on the day. And about 70 to 80% of them switched over on that day, paid for my whole racing budget in one day.
Wow.
So it's stuff like that. And probably next year, we'll do that similar day because it's just so fun. So we'll do like the track day and we'll do the drift day as well. Because it's like, everyone loves drifting.
Yeah.
Gordon will come up for that one, won't you, mate?
Oh, absolutely. That sounds so much fun.
I'll get you to
so much fun.
Hurts on the way out.
Sure. I think I know the answer to this because I can hear your passion and you love being involved in the community and stuff like that. But you're not tempted to head to, say, the States, and I don't know what there is in terms of levels, but like a level NASCAR. What is their NASCAR, and then what sort of?
Well, like obviously the oval stuff. I've never driven oval, so I'd love to go. But the style of racing over there definitely is me to a T. They're really aggressive. They sort shit out off the track. Like, I was in a bit of a scuffle just the other week at the home race. So, not that I am endorsing getting into scuffles in the pits and stuff, but over there it's just a bit more liberal, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. So, but yeah, would love to go over and have a crack. Europe is real aggressive racing as well, British touring cars, stuff like that. But the Utes is known for it as well. But given the chance, it's just money. It's all it is. Motorsport is the most expensive sport in the world. I should have played golf or tennis. So, but I'm lucky I'm making money out of it. And the Utes get really good coverage. We've got Fox, we've got KO. We race at all the supercar events. If you're not on the supercars calendar, you're nowhere really.
Explain what the supercars are, please.
So supercars is the V8 supercars.
Yeah.
So that's like Bathurst, Gold Coast, Adelaide, Darwin. They've got a 12-round calendar for next year. We're on 6 of them. So, and then if you're at supercars rounds, you're on Fox Sports, you're on KO. Sometimes free to air. If you're not, if there's another racing series called ARG, Australian Racing Group, they're on Stan. And then all of those TV channels where it looks good on paper. So you might be they'll show you racing, and then after your racing finished, there's like a rerun of MASH or something, So the way I look at it, unless you're on a big screen in the casino or at a pub, there's no point.
Yeah.
So, and it's about exposure. I had an in-car camera at Gold Coast, so all the sponsors got massive coverage because, I won 3 out of 4 races. I was in the crash in race 2, which we won't talk about, which cost me the championship. Slamming the doors and, but it's all coverage. And not that I did it on purpose, but you just have that extra camera in the car. And I pay for that camera. So I actually pay the category $5,500 to have that camera in the car, but it gives you extra exposure for your sponsors.
And what's social media like in the industry?
There's something I need to work on more with my social media. I was the first one to do the Shoey on the podium. So,
tell us about this story.
Yeah, so that went nuts. So that's sort of I haven't done one since, and I don't want to be known as the Shoey guy, on my gravestone, the guy that did the Shoey on the podium. But
sorry, for those who don't know the history.
Yeah. So it's a Gold Coast thing. There's the guys up here, the Mad Hueys. I was just the first person to do it on a podium.
And this is you're drinking out of your shoe.
Yeah. So basically, it went global because of me. I've got no doubt about that in my mind whatsoever. It was maybe popular in Queensland, the Mount Huey guys, but I took it global and I did it on the podium. And Dave Reynolds copied me. Daniel Ricciardo copied David Reynolds. Yeah. Jack Miller did it. Valentino Rossi did it. Now it's even little young go-karters are doing it with non-alcoholic.
Because when you drink out of your shoe, especially.
Yeah. So the weekend before, it was 2015, and it was the weekend before we were racing in Perth. And I'm at my mate's house at Paradise Point, and we're on the beers. I think I was on a stand-up paddleboard, drop. I call it a drop knee shoey. So you drop down on one knee and do a shoey. And they're like, if you win next weekend, you've got to do a shoey on the podium. So won that weekend, and I just checked because usually after the last race we hang around for 10 minutes and we do the podium straight away. And I've just grabbed my phone out of my race bag to have a quick look, and then I got a message don't forget the shoe. I'm like, okay. So done the shoe in the podium, and the rest is history. And then it took a while for it to obviously when Ricardo and I did it, that's what really took it off. And then I had journalists. But for some reason, people get real funny about claiming who did it. And I never claimed to invent the Shoey. I just was the first one to do it on the podium. So I've got people like abusing me, messaging me saying, you didn't invent the Shoey, it was about Huey's. I'm like, I never fucking said I did. So, and like when I did go, I went on the Today Show with Stefanovic and that, and I'm trying to raise money for Camp Quality. And then also like 80% of the comments are just like, who invented the Shoey? I'm like,
because we like to focus on the important things in life.
Yeah. But for some reason, like people just get real touchy about who started what and who. Like I'm like, who cares? And I haven't done one since. So it's pretty funny. But I had like journalists from Europe calling me, but all exposure for my sponsors. So sponsors are loving it. I'm loving it, of course. And maybe we'll do another Shoey next year. Who knows?
So when's the next race?
We've actually got an early start. The SuperUte's calendar actually gets announced today. I already know what it is, but
insider trading.
So yeah. So yeah, 100%. But yeah, our first rounds. There's actually 2 events at Bathurst next year. So Bathurst in February and then Bathurst in October. So we've got Bathurst, Darwin, Sydney Motorsport Park, which is like the old Eastern Creek, I call it still. Bathurst. Yeah, Adelaide's the last round. So going from Bathurst, Darwin, Sydney Motorsport Park, Bathurst, Gold Coast, Adelaide. Yeah. So good calendar. Like heaps of street circuits, Bathurst twice, like who's going to complain about that? And Darwin, which is awesome. Yeah. Like really cool round. So I recommend that, like if people are going to go on a bit of a trip tour around, to go to that one. It's a boys' weekend. Go on a fishing boat. Mitchell Street in Darwin goes off, and obviously the track's awesome. It's one of those tracks where you can see the whole track from pretty much any vantage point.
Wow.
Yeah. Big, long straight, some cool corners over the back there, and obviously really good weather that time of year. So.
Is that your favourite circuit? Or Bathurst?
The favourite circuit's probably Gold Coast. Yeah. So it's like Bathurst, Phillip Island, really high speed, like fast flowing tracks are really fun. Bathurst obviously mega, but I just love racing at home. And I always, like I've won 12 races at home. Of the last 8 races here, I've won 6 of them. So I just drive better at home. It must be I'm just trying to show off in front of all my friends or something. Who knows? You just drive better. So you sleep in your own bed. You got your family there. Like I had my little 3-year-old son there this year, and it was so cool. Like the coolest thing ever, racing in front of him. So
I definitely win the trophy for coolest dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
My dad does a podcast.
I'm going to make him listen to this in a couple of years.
Get him to do a Shoey.
100%, Gordy. Non-alcoholic.
Yeah. Have you always been you're driving a Ford, right? Ford
Ranger, yeah. Yeah.
Have you always been a Ford guy? I know this is a hot topic.
I think so.
In Australia.
No, like I think it's like, the family is definitely like probably a more Ford family. I'm not really bothered by it, but like I'm just like there's obviously no more Australian manufacturing here, so but like you got to admit, like the VE Holden Commodore Ute was a cool looking Ute. Like that was just slick as that thing. Not so much to repair because it was all one piece. I don't know if you know, like the Fords have like a tub, so like there's a cabin and there's a tub. The VEs were one piece, so like damage wise, they were harder to repair. That's just the Ute, the money man and the Ute racer talking to me, but like we've made some cool looking cars. So I'm not really Ford or Holden when it comes to the Utes, but I guess before that, like you sort of just, I think it's more of a family thing. Like, so did your family have? Do they have a favorite football team or a hockey team or a brand of car? Or
so I grew up in North Africa, migrated or moved back to Australia when I was 18.
Yeah,
mom's originally from Melbourne. I inherited the Saints. Which
so you inherited it. Yeah. Like AFL, they're so passionate about that, man.
I remember my first experience at an AFL game. Actually, this is hilarious because I grew up always a stranger in a foreign land.
Yeah,
and and when I went to America, they're incredibly patriotic.
Yeah.
We'd have Spirit Week. Every Friday morning, you stand up, the national anthem's blaring.
Yeah,
everyone stands up. This is at school. In before first period.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like I was never at home. Then I finally moved to Australia. I'm like, I'm at home. They hear my accent. You're not Aussie, mate. So we went to an AFL game, and this was like a preliminary final.
Yeah.
And it was Geelong Cats versus Collingwood, I think, and the national anthem's there. And I'm like, this is my moment.
Yeah.
20 years I've been waiting for this. So I stand up, get on my heart, and everyone's talking as the national anthem's going.
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing, Ferris?
Yeah.
And before the national anthem's over, everyone's just swearing at the refs.
Yeah. That's probably one thing that I think should be instilled more into kids here is that, like, just respect the anthem. And then all this, like, the yes and no, and like, just like, everyone just needs to just chill out. Like, it's just, you can't use that shit for platforms for that sort of stuff. So,
yeah.
But yeah, patriotic. I think there needs to be a bit more of that here.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
No, because like you were saying, you grew up with it being a Holden family or Ford family.
Yeah. And then you said you inherited the Saints. So like I'm Broncos, even though we've got a team on the Gold Coast, but you can't just switch, you know? So what about you, Gordon? What are you obviously living in Melbourne? Are you born and bred down there?
Yeah, I am. I've spent a lot of time overseas, but no, I grew up a Doggies fan, Western Bulldogs. Okay. And a funny story, my auntie, who knows nothing about football, she knew that I was a Bulldogs fan. But she bought me a Canterbury Bulldogs, like, jumper and scarf and whatever. It's not even the same.
Choice.
Yeah. So yeah, rugby and football a little bit different.
AFL's a lot better live. Like, rugby leagues are good. Rugby, I'm not into Union really at all. Like, I watch the highlights and stuff, but rugby league's a TV game. AFL's good on TV as well, but so much better live. But you guys got a point for missing. That's weird, but
it's funny. Yeah. When they say the word footy, they're referring to something different.
Footy
in Melbourne's is AFL, footy in Sydney's.
Yeah. Imagine trying to learn English. Like, we've got like words that mean three different things.
I when I moved to Australia, just the amount of lingo you pick up.
Yeah.
I remember I'd have these conversations with my auntie, and I'm like, what are you talking about income? She kept saying income.
Yeah.
Like, what's that got to do with anything?
Yeah.
I kept hearing the word fat income.
Yeah.
And she's like, I didn't say that. And eventually I said, what is that? She goes, fair income. And I said, what does that mean? She goes, I really don't know.
We've all got a fair income.
Yeah. I kept hearing fat income. Fat income.
God.
No, it's a fun place, Australia. So, you've definitely found your niche. And
yeah. Like, some of even the fan base is sort of, it's evolving, I guess, with motorsport. Like, it's not so bogany. There's a bit more corporate stuff, you know, corporate involved, white collar, blue collar, whatever you want to call it. The demographic switching, but I suppose that's because the market switches as well. So there is the market relevance thing does have a lot to do with it, but at the end of the day, like, we're entertainment.
Yeah.
So, like, perfect racing category for me would be everyone's in the same car, like NASCAR sort of thing. Like, NASCAR's just body shapes. Like, the headlights are stickers, you know, like, it's not a Camry or whatever they use over there. It's just everyone's the same. That's why there's different winners every week.
Yeah.
So I'd love to just be same category. Everyone's got the same car, and it's just all up to the driver.
Skill.
Yeah. That's how it should be. But and it doesn't happen. Like, it's happened in supercars. It's definitely happening in F1 at the moment. The teams with the biggest budget, and the most that have the most sort of the biggest workshop with all the biggest machines and tools. And
so are there limitations with the V8 Utes?
Well, not really. Like you can test as much as you want, but everyone uses the same brakes, same tires, same suspension. There's only so much you can do. So the Utes is is a fair category, definitely. Like, the parity's not amazing. It wasn't amazing at the start of this year. So like literally the car that I'm in is literally the oldest car in the field. It was the first one built, but we put got a new chassis and stuff put in it. But you know, there's guys like the guy that won the championship this year was in a brand new car at the start of the year. And he won the championship last year. I wasn't in the championship last year. I only did the one round at Gold Coast, which I won 3 out of 4. So I was pretty confident going into this year, but I chose a Hilux at the start of the year, and they just weren't quite on the money. And I was up in arms about it. And I was the only one sort of like complaining about the parity.
Yeah.
Because the guys that own the series, they also have the biggest team in the series. So it's very hard for them not to be sort of seen as it's a conflict of interest sort of thing. So, but they've done an amazing job with the category. Luke Severs has. But yeah, the parity at the start of this year was not fair at all. Like, the guy that won the championship was a second faster than me at the start of the year at some of the rounds. And then we switched to the Ranger, and obviously, you know, come the end of the year. We won 2 races at Bathurst, 3 races at Gold Coast, 2 at the start of the year. But, you know, he'd already got that massive advantage at the start of the year. So to me, it's not fair. Like, he won the championship with a massive advantage at the start of the year.
Yeah.
Then they changed the parity. And I'm like, if I didn't go up in arms about it, like, I was on social media, I'm just bombing the category. But you got to do it. Like, I'm passionate about what I do. And my sponsors don't, you know, they don't want me to see me coming second or third every race. They want to see me winning races.
Yeah.
So I think they were just that focused on getting the category, like, pumping, but they weren't focusing on the parity. So I'm not saying they did it on purpose, like, gave themselves an advantage, but they had a massive advantage, and now it's better, but still they have an advantage, and hopefully it's sorted next year, which it will be.
Yeah. Do you adjust the color for different courses, like torque and steering, suspension?
Not really. There's different setup. You can play with your tire pressures, your ride heights. But at the end of after every session, we get our ride heights checked. So you got to have minimum ride heights. So you can really play with your camber, your tire pressure. It's real basic. Yeah. But there is a bit of an art to it. Like, you got to prep the cars really well. Like your tire rod ends and stuff like that, like, they all flog out. Yeah. So you just got to have really good maintenance. Like, proper preparation prevents piss poor performance.
Yeah.
So
that's good. Yeah. I mean, you watch F1 and there's telemetry on everything. You know, there's like 100 sensors in the car and they're tweaking this and that, but it seems pretty straightforward with the Utes.
Yeah, 100%. Like, we still have a bit of data, but and I don't, to be honest, we don't really use it much. And then when I was in the touring car masters, like, I was in a 700 horsepower Camaro with a tacho in it, like a shift light and a tacho, like, fucking basic cars. And that was cool. So that was one of the coolest cars I've ever driven. So it's not the be all and end all having all that data. And to me, sometimes it's a bit of sensory overload, especially if you're a beginner. So like Jason Norris, who's my teammate, he's the state manager for Automasters. They're my biggest client, my signage business's biggest client. That's how I met Jason. He's now racing. And I sort of haven't done heaps with him yet with his driver coaching, because I'm just waiting for him to just get up to a certain level, and then I can swoop in and, like, so I'm going to Adelaide next weekend. There's a non-championship race for the Utes. I'm not racing, but Jason is, and I'll go down there, and that's when I'll start driver coaching him, and then he can start looking at a bit of data. But if you do it at the start, like, just say Gordon started racing next week, which is what people do. They're just like, fuck it, I'm going to go race cars.
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't just sit down with Gordon after every session and go, here's your data. Like, 'cause it's just kind of, although you guys are crypto guys, so you drop a candlestick here. But to me, that's what data looks like. It's like a pie chart, you know, like a whatever. But it's just too much at the start. But you can use it for your braking markers. Obviously, in-car camera footage is good to look at. But I'd be like, Gordon would do, say, 2 or 3 race meetings, and then I'd sit down with him and go, this is what you go a little bit deeper here, you carry more speed here, trail brake, off the brake there. But at the start, it's just too much. Yeah. Especially for young kids and that. Like, I think parents just push them into it too hard. They need to just sort of get up to a certain level, learn and fail. Well, you don't fail, you just learn. You know,
you gotta feel the car.
Yeah, you gotta like make mistakes and like, don't do it again. Like, figure out how to do it yourself without, like, having just swamped after. And then people make excuses and, like, oh, the car's not fast enough, my son should be winning, and, you know, like, full BMX dads, you know, like, fucking just too involved on the sideline. So, like, my dad doesn't even come to the races anymore. It's like, how'd you go? I'm like, yeah, all right. He's like, good mate. So
nonchalant. So just on that, and by the way, you called me a crypto guy. I'll just let that pass. I'm a Bitcoin guy, but that's all right.
George.
In a formal life.
George.
You like self-admitted not a petrol head. How much in terms of performance is the mechanics, the car setup versus the skill of the driver?
Definitely, like, in supercars when they have pit stops and stuff, like, definitely if you've got a smart engineer that can come up with a really good strategy, that makes it a massive advantage. But obviously at the end of the day, talent will shine through. But in supercars, if you're not like last year, a good example, like, I was in one of the oldest cars in the field, but it's still current. But last year was sort of like the last year that they were having those current cars in that category, and then they go down to Super 3. So, to cut a long story short, I chose the worst year to do Super 2. Chose the wrong team, which put me in an older car, and I'm like, I'll just be able to drive around this. doesn't work like that. So like I had a couple of top 5 finishes and did some at the street circuits. I was pretty fast, but yeah, and it was so frustrating because I know I'm faster than all these guys in front of me, but unless you're but the budget was good. Like, you know, like the guy that won the championship last year in Super 2 would have spent, you know, 600,000, but the budget, I was like 480. So it just, it pisses me off that you gotta spend money to be out the front. So that's what appeals to me about categories like the Utes and NASCAR and stuff like that. It's even though those guys are spending millions as well, but equal equipment, equal opportunity for everyone. Yeah.
Oh, that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Wow.
But to answer your question, Gordon, like in the Utes, like, like it's just preparation and knowing and the experience. So like Rod Dawson, who runs my car, will just know what needs to be changed. Like after every round, we literally just write with paint pen on the windscreen what needs to be done on the car. So it'll go back to the workshop and there'll be a list on the windscreen and they just scratch it out as they change or whatever on the car. It gets scratched out on the windscreen.
Wow.
No paperwork, mate. Just a paint pen on your windscreen.
That's great. Would he ever tune the car towards you? In other words, would he tune a car differently for a different driver, or is it pretty much?
Yeah, right. That's the thing. Like Rod does know me really well. Like he's sort of like my security blanket, I guess. So, he knows that I'm not real technical, but he does know if I do say something, if he can like understand the language I'm speaking, it's usually right. So, but no, I can sort of. That's why last year in the supercar, like I thought I could just hop in the thing and drive it because I can drive around problems. But you can do that in the Utes, but not in supercars. So, but having said that, like definitely, like we probably sometimes, like probably my thing's brakes. So I always have fresh brakes on the car. Always have we always bleed the brakes because that's my strongest point. I brake pretty deep, brake pretty aggressively. But obviously can't do that and I'll lose confidence if I don't have all that. So they're constantly, you know, bleeding the brakes and fresh brake pads. That's probably my biggest thing is having that part of the car because it does help to stop. But having that part of the car always Mickey Mouse is probably my thing.
Yeah.
That's it. Like obviously everything else, you've got to have a good engine and everything, but that's all takes care of itself. So.
Because you're driving fast and aggressively in terms of racing, how do you go on regular everyday driving, just going to shopping center and stuff?
Man, like I think the speed limits are too slow.
Oh, it's absurd here.
Yeah. So like I'm one of those guys that's always like 7K over or 8K over when I get your tickets, you know? But I've got my cars registered in my company name. So what would be 1 point and like $200 is like $1,500 or something, you know? But if I didn't do that, I'd have no point. I'd lose my license because I'm like always 7 or 8K over the speed limit. I think they're way too slow. Like 60K an hour, people are more focused on staying on 60 than actually looking at the road. Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's just ridiculous. We are a bit of a nanny country with stuff.
Well, it's not safety, it's revenue raising.
100%, man. Yeah. So like it's so frustrating. And even the mobile phone thing, 100%, like people can't be on their mobile phones. But those cameras are just revenue raising, man. Like,
well, there was a study done, and I'm going to misquote this because I heard this ages ago, but I'm 90% accurate here. I think it was in Holland, where it was a small town, and what they ended up doing was they figured there's too many signs, and when there's too many signs, people ignore them.
Yeah.
So, and this was a shared, the little CBD of a small town. It was shared between cyclists, pedestrians, cars.
Yeah,
they removed every single sign. And I think just had like traffic lights or a roundabout, but every single sign was gone. Stop signs, speed signs were gone. And they had a decrease in the average speed, and like a 40% decrease in accidents.
Really?
Because people go in and like, oh, whoa, there's a person just walking across. There's a bike there. I don't know what to do. I'll slow down and I'll pay attention. Yeah. Rather than a sign that says go 50, I'm fine to go 50 then.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's like literally.
That sounds like too much freedom. I'm against that.
Sometimes
I want a nanny state.
Yeah, mate. Some of the roads here, like Bermuda Street, like they're just the speed limit's too slow. Like you're literally too focused. And then like they change it. Like it'll go from 60, it's like 70 to 60 or 80 to 60. Yeah. And then where it goes from 80 to 60 is the speed camera. Yeah. Like it's just, it's a trap.
Yeah. Now I remember when I first moved to Melbourne and we're on the Eastern Freeway.
Yeah.
And I'm in the back seat. We're on the freeway, and all of a sudden we're stopped. I'm like, why are we stopped? And we're at a light. Like, we're at a light. Isn't this a freeway?
Yeah. Oh man. But people work in Victoria. People work in with each other. In
they know how to
merging and stuff. In Queensland, it's like, no, you're not getting in. And we're still not quite getting our heads around the merging.
Having said that, though, and I've lived a lot of my life in Southeast Asia where there's no road rules. Like you basically,
it's insane over there. I love that shit over there.
And
scooter,
it's organized chaos, right? You do whatever you want, but there's less road rage in that society than there is here.
Yeah,
there are a lot of rules.
Yeah, 100%. Because people are just frustrated.
Yeah,
from I used to be I used to live in Ormo, and the wrong time of day, even driving to Brisbane, I don't even do it. I don't even send my guys up there to do jobs unless it's like before 7 or after 9.
Yeah.
Or if they're in Brisbane or if I'm in North Brisbane, I want to be on the road by 1. Otherwise, it's just, no way. In a manual car, in that traffic, don't do it. That's why I got rid of my manual. All auto now.
Okay.
I think we're going to have to change the name of this podcast to Australian Traffic Report.
Yeah.
Let's make it a calling show.
Send us to all the local governments. Fix your roads. Make the speeds faster.
Oh, man. Well, Ryal, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on, man. It's been a lot of fun.
No, thank you.
Before I let Ryal go, do you have any more questions?
I got plenty of questions, but I'll ask just one. And this is going to show my age, watching supercars and watching like Scaife and Ambrose and Murphy and all those guys and a few fisticuffs, whatever. What's the, can you give us an insight into what's the most aggressive you've been towards another driver? Like if you wanted to get out of your car, punch him in the head sort of thing, or is it all pretty civil?
No, I'm aggressive on the track. And rarely, people, maybe there's been a few pushes and shoves here and whatnot over the years, maybe a few little punches. There's nothing that from memory that stands out, but I'm just really aggressive on the track. Not blatant, just I just want to win. And, I guess the other drivers know that as well. So you have I guess you have a bit of a advantage over them mentally. The mind game thing, I love. I don't actually play mind games, but when people try and play them on me, it works in reverse. It just makes me I'm in their head. You know what I mean? For them to even try and do that, they're not in my head at all. They're nothing to me. They're just another car that I need to.
Who are you? What's your name?
Yeah. No, not like that. I'll have a beer with them. And it is to me, it's so funny. If we're out, just say I run into my main competition, we're at a nightclub somewhere, or he's in trouble, I'll go and fucking stand over him and protect him, or I've got his back.
Yeah.
But when we're racing, he's just a car.
Yeah.
He's just another car that either that's got to be my revision mirror, or if they're in front of me, they're going to get past. You know what I mean? So it's weird, but that's just how I'm dialed in, I guess.
It's competition.
Yeah. But come into the track, have a beer with him that night. How's your family? That's just how it is. That's how it should be.
Well, it's the same in boxing, MMA. You see these guys leading up to a fight. They want to beat each other up at a press conference. They're pounding each other. As soon as the match is over, they're hugging each other.
That's the thing. I've actually just got into the UFC last couple of years, and you see all that lead up to it. That's what sells the fight.
Yeah,
and they probably do. They genuinely hate each other.
Yeah,
but I think it's great for kids to see that they show that respect.
Yeah.
They shake hands and they get over it.
Yeah.
You can't have that. You might it's funny because they might do that and then 2 seconds later on Twitter, just destroying each other. But that's the show.
Yeah.
But to show that respect, I think is very important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's healthy. A lot of blokes have white line fever, once they're on the field or whatever it is, they're super competitive and aggressive. But as soon as that whistle's gone, as soon as it's over, you don't have to be best friends, but it's everything's good.
You leave the anger at the track or on the field or whatever, So, but pick it up where you left off as soon as you're back on there.
That's super healthy. So no arch nemesis or someone you're like,
mate,
you want to cut them off in the shopping center or something.
There's been some guys over the years there's obviously really fast guys I've raced against. There's young fast guys. they're all just cars that you want to beat. So like, I'm not gonna. It's not like I don't want to mention any names or anything. Like there's some guys like Dave Cedars and I've raced against for years. Aaron Ball that won the championship this year in the SuperUtes. You know, real fast guys, but they're just guys that I know I can beat. I know I'm faster than them. There might be in better cars, but I just got to overcome that and just do what we do. So
what if Aaron what if Aaron cut in front of you in a parking spot or whatever? Would there be fisticuffs?
I'd probably laugh and be like, "Where's the pub? Let's go for a beer." No, like yeah, I don't know. Like, I've never really thought about it like that. Like, I guess there is a lot of tension in the pits. And because of social media these days, it's like two barking dogs with a fence in the middle of them. You know, it's like this, and then as soon as that fence is open, oh.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, there is a lot of social hate. And especially I get a lot of thrown at me. Like, I get some of the messages I get are just like, when people like, some troll, some low life will say something about your family or something, then I'll get pissed off. But like, they're just doing that to get a response. It's probably just some loser in front of his computer. Just like, I think of it like that and I just don't really care. Like, they're just trying to get a response out of you.
Yeah.
So I just ignore that stuff. I block it out. And like I said, it works the opposite. I'm like, well, that guy's at home typing about me. Who cares? Like, I don't even know who he is.
And the funny thing is, it's like everyone else, like us and the media, everyone else wants to see the fight and the fisticuffs or whatever. Yeah. But you guys are like, no, we're just competitive, you know?
Yeah. Well, like, that's the thing. Like Jared Maggs, who literally, like, in race 2, I qualified pole, won the first race. Second race 2 is reverse grid. They reverse the top 10. So we've got this rule. If you're on the way to the beach chicane, you've got to fall into single file before the 150 meter board. He didn't do that. He took me out. Cost me the championship. I could have wrapped up, and I'm confident I would have. I was only 9 points off the lead, and I won both races the next day. So I would have won the championship at home. I'd still be partying. So instead, he took that from me, and I'll never get over it. Like, I'll forgive him, like, I guess, but I'll shake his hand. But I went straight up to him in the pits and just went ballistic at him, but in front of his whole family. So then his family's into me, pushing me and stuff. I never touched him. I just, just yelled at him. And that went viral on TikTok. And then everyone's like, "Oh, the Utes are all feral, they're all bogans." I'm like, "Fuck, hang on a second." I just went and tried to, it's just like two footy players.
Yeah, you can't get context in 3 seconds.
Yeah, and he's like 4 seconds a lap slower than me. And he's like, "I had a run on you." I'm like, "Yeah, what were you trying to achieve?" Like, he just didn't understand it, and he ruined my championship at home. So I'll probably actually never forgive him. If he pulls in front of me in a car park, I would run him off a cliff, probably.
That's on that note, great.
We'll put a picture of him up here. Okay?
Yeah. No, he's all right. Jared's good. He's a good bloke, but I'll just, that was really hard to get over. I clearly am not over it still.
So what are your favorite racing movies? There's plenty of them out there.
Oh, man.
From an inside
Days of Thunder, you can't go wrong with.
Days of Thunder.
Yeah, Talladega Nights is good. Yeah, any stupid slapstick comedy is good. So,
you into any of the Fast and Furious, or is that just silly?
Entertainment. I love entertainment. So I think some of the special effects are a bit. The funniest thing is like, how many gears has that car got? It's fucking like 10 times. It's like a fucking 10-speed Supra. Granny shifting, double clutching. So, but racing movies are like someone. I think we should probably do more stuff here, like Netflix has done with F1. So like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So that'd be pretty funny. Like, we probably will do some more stuff like the NGS guys. Elliot and I have spoken about doing some behind the scenes stuff like that because people just don't do it. I hate generic content.
Yeah, people like to know how the sausage is made.
100%. Yeah. And like that would be SuperUte and then EFS but like behind the scenes, I mean, like it'd be like a documentary. So like, what we do at night. Like we're not sitting there looking at data. We're probably do 10 minutes of that and then we're all like having beers or whatever, and then like obviously like what's involved with working on the Utes. Like, imagine a documentary, like a film crew followed me last weekend. It would have been me getting pushed around by a guy's family and big scuffle in the pits and whatever, like. So behind the scenes stuff like that is what people want to see.
Yeah.
And I think generic content is so boring. Like,
what is it about cars that appeals to men and boys? Because like I've got boys 8, 10 years old, and they're in the Top Gear, they're in Grand Tour. They love it. What is it about cars?
I don't know. Like, I guess when you're a little boy, you play with cars, and it just like, I suppose it just continues. Like I love cars, and I was like, I really appreciate a good looking car, like Aston Martin or I used to love the Dodge Viper when I was a little young kid. But yeah, I guess it's more the aesthetic, but then you get kids that take further and like some kids want to be a driver, some kids want to be an engineer. It just, I guess it's just a very boy thing. Like I'm probably more into like fashion and art and stuff like that. But I guess it's just,
what car do you drive personally?
I've got a Ranger Raptor. So I wasn't a Mazda because Mazda sponsored me. Just a Ranger Raptor, just a cool looking car. Wrapped it in the color that I really like, and it's just from A to B really. Still get speeding fines at it.
Fair enough.
Always that 8K over, it's just a nightmare. I swear, if I had every speeding fine I've ever got, it would be 7 to 8Ks over.
I'm assuming.
Sell an option.
Yeah. Actually, I still have the original boot that I did the Shoey in. After I was on a Today Show, I tried to get some traction with it, and I knew I was going on the show like 4 days before, right? So I set up like original podium Shoey or Shoey's for a cause is what we set up, and I wanted to auction off the original boot that I started the whole crazy phenomenon. Like F1 this way, like Blasier's got a Shoey bar. Like everyone's like, you should have trademarked this shit. And I'm like, I wasn't thinking like that at the time, but literally I should have done something with it. And I tried to auction off the original boot, which I still have at home because I got like 10 people that signed up to that website. That's it. So it's like I just said I'll do it as a side auction for Camp Quality. I've already had someone offer me $5,000 for it. So I actually emailed Camp Quality just the other day about it and said, listen, let's just keep it going and get as much as we can. Like I can sell it for $5,000 now, but I'd rather get more for it. So
do you want to plug the website actually while we're here?
Yeah. So shoeysforacause.com.au and you sign up and it's like a silent auction sort of thing. But yeah, it was done very fast. Like I think it was done and we turned it around in the day, like a logo, website, everything. So just for that Today Show segment. So
tell us a bit more about the charity and how you got involved.
So Camp Quality. So I'm pretty passionate with my charity stuff. So in 2015, I tried to do this concept called Ride with Ryal. So we have 8 rounds back then, though. This is in the old Be Out You days. So 8 rounds, 8 creative liveries, 8 charities. So I had like Camp Quality, Movember, Heart Foundation, RSPCA, Beyond Blue, like all the big ones. Like you sort of want to help the little guys out, but with what I was doing, they had to be big, well-known charities because they've got massive media reach.
Yeah.
So like my sponsors would want to sit alongside all them and get and sort of enjoy the publicity that they get, like being involved with the big charities. So it was a win-win. Like we're raising money for the charity, and then I'm also using the charity to make my sponsors feel good about themselves, which they should because they're helping out a charity. So it works for everyone. So the first round, I went to about 4 or 5 different Camp Qualities, and all the kids got an A3 bit of paper and they drew, houses, chimneys, cars, dragons, whatever, And then I employed like a really good graphic designer to put all the drawings together, and my car was wrapped in all the kids' drawings for that round. So I had Camp Quality on the car with all the drawings wrapped on the car, and then the sponsor sat alongside it. But I just couldn't get it off the ground after that one round. Just struggled to do it. Some of the charities are actually really hard to do with. Like they're like, I'm like, I just want to like put you on my car, raise money for you. I had an iPad in the car, so like people would pay to have their logo pop up on the screen. And I'd have like an in-car camera, and then that money raised on the iPad would go to the charity. So I just couldn't get off the ground. It was just a lot to deal with. So, but cool concept. That's something I definitely want to revisit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, don't give up.
And like it was pretty passionate. And the reason I got into that is there was a kid called Luke Spalding. He raced in the Utes, and he was a Brisbane boy. He he passed away from leukemia, lymphoma, I think it was. And but we did this thing where we raised money for all the kids on Christmas morning at the Brisbane Children's Hospital. Every kid in the cancer ward got an iPad. And the first year I did that, God, I get emotional talking about it now. It was just like any little drama that you think you have means nothing. Yeah. Like a bill or people stress about like, you know, a power bill or a phone bill, or it just means nothing. Like there's kids in there that have got no bone marrow. Yeah. And like we couldn't even go and see them because they're that sick. Yeah. There's kids that get that, like they've got the kid that was a fan of my racing, I guess. His mum's like, just be strong for my boy. And she sort of knew what I was up. I didn't know what I was in for. My wife did. She's like, it's going to be emotional. And, yeah, it was. Yeah. Full on.
No, as a parent, it's a different universe when you.
Yeah. So, but that was like a real eye opener for me. Like I said, any little problem you think you have means nothing. Yeah. Like seeing that stuff, and that just sort of made me just want to help. Especially like, young children, like doing that sort of stuff is amazing. And it's a fun concept, like going to those camp qualities, you know, wrapping my whole car in those drawings, and that was sick. So it's something I definitely want to revisit. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Nice. But that was hard.
A good reality check.
Let's wind it up.
No, we're not like that.
Yeah. But, that was a real cool thing to do. So, definitely want to do more of that. And I've sort of run it by the NGS guys and SuperUte EFS. They're all pretty keen. So that's why I just sort of kept the foot in the door, I guess, with the boot in the door, the shoey in the door with camp quality, just to revisit that next year.
I'd be so much, especially kids these days. We've had to spend so much time locked up during, government lockdowns. And then for them to actually meet people in real life, it's just such a huge deal.
Yeah, 100%. So, and then like I said, kids love cars. Yeah. It just works. Yeah. But some of the charities, not camp quality, they're amazing, but some of them are just really hard to do with. Like, cause they must get people wanting to use them for the wrong reasons or something like that, I guess. But that was a fun concept. And like I put so much effort into that, like proposals, the Ride with Ryal concept. It's one of the best proposals I've ever done, but, just could never get it off the ground.
Yeah.
So it was a struggle. You're either struggling with sponsors or you're struggling to make room for all of the ones that want to sponsor you. So,
well, you're doing a lot more than just driving. You're running a business.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
That's why I like knowing about what my sponsors do, because, like I said before, I'm a salesman. I'm a representative of that brand. Yeah. So I need to know, everything about a sausage to a crypto to legal, to EFS 4x4 accessories, to Havendine Roofing, Volo Modular Homes, like Captain Candy sponsored me. I was sponsored by a shop that sells candy. So you just need to know about all of it. Yeah. So what sponsors can be really fun. And then obviously it's funny because NGS is probably like the most serious to explain, but they're also, you guys are the funnest bunch to hang with. So like it's so funny.
Oh, it's funny you're sponsored by Butcher because Bitcoiners, once they get into Bitcoin and financial freedom, they go down these other rabbit holes. And the carnivore diet's a big one as well.
Yeah.
The original Bitcoiners are very much into it. They'll post photos of the steak they're eating.
Yeah. I'm about to go to Moo Moo's after this. I'm about to go to Moo Moo's because they're a client of mine, so I'm going to measure up some signage. So.
Who is Moo Moo's? What they do?
Moo Moo's at Broadbeach, the steak restaurant. Yeah. So I'm about to go have a big steak.
There you go. Nice. Bitcoiner than you know.
Yeah.
Ryal, I've had so much fun with this, man. Thank you so much for coming.
No, thanks for having me, man. Thank you.
For our audience, our listeners.
Thanks, Gordon.
Thanks, Ryal. Appreciate your time and really impressive how you're not just, doing your thing. I know racing isn't Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, but you could just race and, all that kind of stuff. But it's awesome to see you're involved in the community and all these charities and stuff like that. And Faris and I both have dealt with charities in the past. We could go down a whole new rabbit hole in terms of how frustrating some of that can be. But don't give up. And just because something doesn't work one time doesn't mean
no. Well, like I haven't done much with charities lately. Like even the Shoey thing, that was pretty disheartening. Not taken off. Like I thought I'd raise a fair bit of money just selling the original Shoey, but we'll still do it. But and I definitely want to revisit that. Yeah. So I sort of feel like I feel guilty even talking about charities because I'm not actually doing anything with them at the moment, but something I want to revisit, and all the sponsors do too. So it's just a matter of me putting it together, I guess. So yeah. Now,
RyalHarris.com, is that where you'd like people to go find out more about you, support you?
RyalHarris.com.au. I need to update the website. It's another thing. It's on the to-do list. It's not quite current. Obviously, all the sponsors and stuff are up there, but I just need to get some new content up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, just my socials, my Instagram and Facebook.
What are they?
Just at Ryal Harris.
Yep.
Yeah. So RYAL. There's not many Ryals out there, so it's pretty easy to find me.
And no, we'll post links as well. So I'll put on a show.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Ryal.
Thanks for having me, boys. It was pretty fun. First podcast.
Yeah.
We'll do it from a pub next time, I think. Can we do that? We're good.
Man. Yeah, give us something there.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had to beep out all the swearing.
Maybe
why would we beep it out?
No, thanks for having me, boys. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Yeah. Thanks, Ryal.
Okay, thanks, man.
Thank you, man.
Enjoy your steak. Really appreciate you.
Thank you, Gordon.
Thanks for watching or listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, please like, subscribe, and share so we can spread this educational content to others like yourself. Visit bitcoinbasics.help.
Disclaimer. Any content provided by CoinCompass is for educational and informational purposes only and is not investment, legal, tax, or any other professional advice. A qualified professional should be consulted before making any financial decisions. CoinCompass will at times recommend certain products, services, and technologies, but these are opinions based upon our own or podcast guests' experience and not endorsements. We take no liability for out-of-date or inaccurate information, software bugs, manufacturing errors, technology misuse, or issues involving third parties. Visit coincompass.com for more information and please contact us.